You slept like a half hour and you shouldn't have even gone to bed because when you wake up your eyes are burning. Oh, I hate it.
So do you have a bunch of spy weeks? Sorry. Huh?
We left at 4:30.
Well, Miami might score twice. Miami might not score twice. Chances are the latter.
Excuse me. Well, I want to welcome you here today. Thanks everyone for coming. Dr. Briscoe, Mr. Mack, thank you for being with us. Today's announcement by Buena Vista College President Keith Briscoe is about progress and success. Buena Vista College is fortunate to have a great leader in Keith Briscoe. The other day I was talking on the phone with one of our trustees who could not be here today. Sir John Templeton and I were talking about Keith Briscoe and the fact that he's been here for 20 years. He told me, and I quote, "Keith Briscoe is an outstanding entrepreneur. There is no one better in higher education at starting new concepts. Keith's enthusiasm and great Christian spirit cause him to be loved by everyone." Dr. Briscoe, I know a lot of people here agree with that statement. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to you to make your announcement. We will have him make some comments, Mr. Mack will make some comments, and we'll open it up to your questions.
Good. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate all of you taking your time to be with us today. Carmen, where are you? Carmen's back here. And I have met many times and with the faculty and staff and trustees of this college over lunch today to inform them of my decision to retire at the end of the current academic year or when a successful presidential search has been completed. We believe the appropriate time has come for us to move on and make way for an energetic new leadership to take the college into the next century, into the next millennium. We take pride in the progress that has occurred for Buena Vista College during our watch. Due to the work of many, many people, their contributions have been a dedication, a friendship, love, and professionalism. We believe Buena Vista College is poised for continued growth and advancement. Current projects have been well planned and are moving forward. They are on schedule, they're ahead of schedule, and they're under budget, and they're under very careful supervision of college vice presidents and trustees. This year in academic and physical growth is the greatest year in this college's history. I intend to keep or exceed the level of growth for the rest of the year, embarking on a new phase of academic and physical development for Buena Vista College. For me to continue that would require more years than I feel I can devote to the college and to the task ahead. And so it is with mixed emotions that I make this announcement. We will miss this family that has become so important to us, but we trust the talent and vision of those we will leave behind and their ability to seek a higher qualified new leader for Buena Vista College. We will remain actively involved in the operations and life of the college throughout the school year. Upon the completion of the search for a new president, we will move from Storm Lake, that's protocol, to pursue an active retirement, including travel, service, hobbies, and the one we've got a head start on, spoiling grandchildren. Although we will move from Storm Lake, we will never leave the city. The city beautiful. It's the people that make it so very special. We will always have a place in our hearts and memories for Buena Vista College and that wonderful Storm Lake. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you of the press for being here. Over the last 20 years, you've helped us get our message out across the state and nation, and we could have not made our story available to so many students and donors if you had not helped. You have always been a true supporter of our institution. So I want to say thank you. And now I'd like to introduce the chairman of the board, Warren Mack, who is also going to chair as the Presidential Screening Committee's chairman. Warren Mack.
Thank you, Keith. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I just want to say thanks to Keith and Carmen Briscoe for 20 phenomenal years at Buena Vista College. The college has moved from a struggling college to a very, very strong college with a national reputation. We're proud about it. We're excited about it. The excitement among the Board of Trustees is palpable. It's very real, and it's bubbling over. And one of the things that's exciting, I mean, this is not a wake. This is a celebration. We can celebrate 20 years with Keith and Carmen. We can celebrate also the fact that we're now in a position to move forward for at least the next decade, thinking about a person with very strong credentials to be the new leader of Buena Vista. And I think that Keith and Carmen have brought us to the crest of this wave, where we're in a position to attract very strong candidates to lead Buena Vista in the future, and that's worth celebrating. And we're very sad to see them go. There's no way that the trustees can replace Keith and Carmen, but we can move forward, and we will be recommending to the Board of Trustees this afternoon a search committee to conduct a national search, hopefully to have a new president to take over the helm on July 1, 1995. We'll be recommending a committee that will be composed of trustees, that will have faculty representation and student representation on it, as well as alumni representation. And I'm confident that the trustees will be as excited as the rest of the executive committee is in making this recommendation and moving forward to look for a new leader. One of the things that we will be doing is we've tentatively scheduled for November 1, and I hope this date can stand because it works well in schedules of some of its trustees, to come back to Storm Lake and to have a series of meetings with the college's constituencies to discuss the characteristics that we ought to be looking for in a new president. What it is that the college needs from this point going forward. We'll be talking with, obviously, faculty and students, but I'd like to talk to community. I'd like to talk to the vice presidents. I'd like to talk to donors. I'd like to talk to alumni, because it's a very, very big opportunity for the college, and we would like to really make something great out of it. So we're willing to take your questions. I need to leave at 2, but I know Keith can answer questions as long as you have questions to ask.
We've stunned them.
We're stunned them. The press is never stunned. They may only be polite for a moment.
Pardon?
Do you think you might move to the south?
We only know how to spoil our grandchildren when we're present, and they live in Kansas City. So we will move to Kansas City.
Do you have any ideas of the type of new president you would like to see, some of the characteristics that he might have that you think that can carry the college into the future?
Carbon copy? No. Well, we've only sort of begun to think about it, and I don't want to, truthfully, I don't want to think about it very specifically until I've had a chance to talk to all of the college's constituencies, because I genuinely think that we need to have an open mind. We need to listen to the faculty, and we need to listen to the students. This is a student-centered college, and we need to listen to the community. So I don't have it worked out in my own mind. I mean, you can certainly think of some of them, and we need a person who is very strong. We need somebody who's very innovative. We need somebody who represents the best in independent colleges in America. I mean, I always say it's no coincidence that America exports more higher education than any other country in the world, probably than the rest of the world combined. It's because we have a different kind of system. I mean, it's entrepreneurial, it's innovative, it's flexible, it believes in intellectual freedom, academic freedom, intellectual diversity, things you don't get from state-run systems in other nations. And so in my own mind, we're looking for a president who can capitalize on those kinds of qualities of excellence and freedom and innovation and willing to take chances that represent the American Independent College.
I hope they bring their own shoes.
Keith, how old are you?
If you don't want to say, I'll be providing that in a packet later.
Next question?
Next question.
61.
61.
October 16th, last week.
Somebody's birthday back there.
You're 16?
No, that's my birthday too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Would you like to join us?
Keith, in the last 20 years, you've built buildings, you've built an endowment, you've built a faculty, you've built a student body here that is substantially different than when you came. What's in your mind is your legacy? The most significant accomplishment you've had?
You want to talk about a lot of things. You want to talk about the windows falling out of the panes when you first arrived, that we taught a photography course without a camera. We couldn't afford one. You want to talk about taking the campus and building it into something that every individual was proud of before you went to Dr. Siebens and asked for the money. And he came and saw a vibrant, exciting campus, and we did that in 5-6 years. He wouldn't have given to us if he hadn't done that. You want to talk about the Siebens gift. You want to talk about a gift that a man gave us every year until about 4 years ago. He gave us $25 a year, and his Social Security check was $168 a month. That's all he had. Gave us $25 a year. I went to him and I said, this is your 40th, I think it was 43rd year giving to us. That's a record. Maybe you got some other needs. He said, Sonny, I've given 43 years to the college, and I'm going to die with that record intact. Every year you're going to get your $25. That's probably the biggest gift we've ever seen. I could go on and explain things. What we have here that could be a legacy, I leave it unfinished, is the people. The faculty are just marvelous. Student body is great. Vice presidents don't need me. That's one of the reasons that I can leave. I'm getting in their way. They're moving so fast that if they have to check with me, it's wasting their time. It's the people. And of course, they have to prove it in the next 20 years.
Yes.
What do you hope for the college as this decade runs out and we move into the year 2000? Keith, what would you wish Buena Vista College to be a decade from now, having given us the momentum to begin that?
It's my feeling that many things are complete. And then I say to you that the next project takes a decade and that I just won't be allowed to finish that energy-wise or possibly maybe interest-wise. There's something unique about a few colleges in America that no one else has been able to copy, no one else has been able to duplicate. It's a gestalt. And that takes time and years of massaging. It takes the communications professor massaging the English department, to help them, or it takes the English department massaging the philosophy department. And this massaging goes among professionals. And somehow, someday, that comes together. And from that day on, no one ever will be able to change the reputation of the institution. It lasts forever. Oxford, Cambridge, Duke, Harvard, Yale, Beloit, Oberlin, Denison, Bowdoin, Hamilton. Some of them aren't very good today. Some of them are resting on their lawyers. No one takes their reputation away from them. All the small colleges I mentioned, by the way, are in cornfields.
What was the most fun you've had here, President Briscoe? You've been known for some of the pranks and bets and things with students. When did you have the most fun?
Most fun was living in the resident halls. One time 9 weeks, one time for a month. But probably the most fun now, it was not fun then, and it's probably the only time Carmen hasn't supported me. And the habit was that when we lived across the street on 211 College, there was a little picket fence house there with a squeaky gate, a little light, a flagpole that could only support a very small flag, which we burned day and night. And if we were home, never if we weren't home, but if we were home, the goal was to steal that flag. And so we bought them by the dozen. One night I'm coming out of the shower and Carmen says, "The gate squeaked." I grabbed my bathrobe, threw it on, ran down the stairs and flicked the light. The gate squeaked, slammed, looked out, pumpkin gone, can't be gone. Every year we bought bigger pumpkins, and this one was 105 to 110 pounds. There it was in the driveway. They got it as far as the driveway. The light went on. They put it down on the driveway. And so I thought, well, they'll come back and get it. So I went out there and picked it up to bring it back on the steps. Got here and realized I couldn't lift it. Right then, the belt on my robe fell on the ground. I can't put the pumpkin down and I can't lift it any higher. And Carmen, in a sweet voice, says, "Keith, the sash to your robe is on the ground." Well, if you know how narrow the street is there, and there's cars parked right across the street, from behind the cars, and the black night comes. I carried that pumpkin right back.
I'll disavow any knowledge of that particular pumpkin.
Yes.
I don't believe you again.
Outside of spoiling your grandchildren, are there any other hobbies that you'd like to take up? I know you talked about photography quite often. Anything else in your spare time?
Warren Mack had his birthday not too long ago, and you're not allowed to ask his age. And he got a new Hasselblad. Beautiful instrument. And for some time now, an organization, historical organization in South Dakota, have asked me to do a coffee table book, picture book, on the Black Hills. And that's nearly complete, except my knees are kind of weak, and all of a sudden not one picture looks worthy of publication. There's 12, 15,000 slides. But if I could borrow that Hasselblad, would those pictures be great?
It's a fair request, a fair request. Maybe you can teach me how to use the slide projector. I just got the slide projector, and it's such a big, complicated machinery. First I hurt my back trying to set it up, and now I don't know how to run it. It's beyond me.
We have one reporter in here from Minneapolis. Do you have a question?
You can if they're not too hard.
Keith, would you comment on the architectural amenities you brought to the campus?
As a true artist, they speak for themselves. Mrs. Warren Mack, would you stand up, please? Yeah. It's nice to have you here. Is the architectural editor of the Minneapolis Star
Tribune.
Tribune.
Star Tribune.
And they get to travel the world covering architecture. It's some of the great things, and Warren just takes snapshots, and that's why he's got that little point-and-shoot camera. Architecturally is a hard question to ask you, and I wouldn't take you serious on it. When we came, there was no architecture. There was not a unifying theme. There was no entrance to the campus. As you know, if we went 10 feet that way and went up, there was a road running through the middle of the campus. Cars were parked all the way around, and so if you ever had a picture of the campus or any building, it always had a string of cars. You could tell the difference between the faculty and the staff and the students. The students had the new cars. And so we had to develop a theme, and the most serious choice we had was pick an architect whose ego would not be so big that they could see this campus as an opportunity for them to build the Taj Mahal and make the rest of the campus look like a slum.